Hi, I'm Kayla, Reference Librarian at the Massanutten Regional Library. Today we're going to be talking about books set around the world. Our first book today is Still Life by Louise Penny. This is a mystery set in Canada. In this book, Chief Inspector Armand Gamache and his team are called to the town of Three Pines when a body is discovered over the weekend of Thanksgiving. Locals are certain that this is just a hunting accident that caused Jane Neal to die, but Gamache isn't so certain. Join Gamache and his team as they investigate what happened to Jane Neal. What I love about this series are the characters. So many of them are just so likable and you really care about what happens to them. The way the town of Three Pines is written also makes you want to be there and you really feel like you are. It's definitely a town that I would like to visit. Penny's books are usually slow starting for me, but by chapter 4 or 5, I'm usually hooked and can't put the book down. This is the first book in what is currently a 17-book series, but there will soon be an 18th book out. Our next book is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This book is set in Mexico. In this one, we have Cassiopeia, who dreams of a life far from her own in southern Mexico. One day, she finds a box in her grandfather's room and, like Pandora, she opens it. And she lets free the Mayan god of death. The god requests that she help him to take his throne back from his brother. If she fails, she will die. If she succeeds, all of her dreams might come true. In this book, her journey takes her from the jungles of the Yucatan to Mexico City and all the way to the Mayan underworld. I've heard this book described as a Cinderella retelling meets Mayan mythology, which sounds fascinating to me. I love mythology and I love retellings, so I haven't read this book yet, but it is definitely one that I want to get to soon. Our next book is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. In this book, we have Iola and Correde, who are sisters. Iola has just killed her boyfriend and calls Correde to come and help her clean it up and then dispose of the body. This is the third boyfriend that Iola has killed. Correde starts to end up with questions because the details from Iola's stories just don't make sense. Correde thinks she should turn her sister over to the police to protect all the men in Nigeria. But she's her sister and she loves her, so she thinks family should come first and she needs to keep protecting her sister. Until a doctor that Correde is interested in shows an interest in Iola. In order to save him, Correde would need to sacrifice her sister, which she doesn't want to do. Who will she choose in the end? This is the book that I am currently reading. Well, listening to. I'm listening to the audiobook while reading the book, which really makes for a great experience while reading. I have trouble focusing on audiobooks, and the narrator for this one is fantastic. You can really feel how frustrated she is when she's voicing Correde. You can feel how tired she is of having to clean up Iola's messes, and how she is just so confused by what she's being told because the details don't add up. When she's voicing Iola, you can hear kind of the innocence, I guess, where Iola doesn't really mean to kill her boyfriends. At least so far, that's how it's coming across. I hope to finish this book this weekend, and I hope you all will check it out next. Our next book is The Night Tiger by Yangsze Choo. This book is set in what is now Malaysia, but during the time of this book, it was colonial Malaya. In this book, we have Ren, a Chinese servant, who has just been given a mission by his dead master to find his severed finger before 49 days have passed and reunite it with his body, or his soul will never rest. Ren ends up finding a new job with another doctor who is a friend of his previous master. Nearby, at a dance hall, a girl named Jilin finds the finger. As the days pass by, Ren and Jilin's paths cross in several interesting ways. I haven't yet read this book, but I do think it sounds really good and I really want to get to it soon. This book is a combination of Malayan and Chinese folklore, and a mystery, which sounds like a great combination. Our last book today is A Duty to the Dead by Charles Todd. This book is set in England during World War I in 1916. Bess Crawford is a nurse on the Britannic when the ship goes down. One of her last patients, Arthur Graham, died of injuries aboard the ship, and Bess promised that she would deliver a message to his brother Jonathan the next time she was in England. The next time she's in England, she is injured from the ship sinking, but she decides to go to the family and give them the message that Arthur had. The message is this: "Tell Jonathan that I lied. I did it for Mother's sake, but it has to be set right." After reaching out to the family, Bess journeys to Kent. She delivers the message, but Jonathan thinks it means nothing. Arthur's other brother, Timothy, and their mother also agree that it means nothing. Having done what she promised to do, she decides to leave Kent. Before she leaves, the family gets word that Peregrine, Arthur's half-brother who's been in an asylum for killing a girl, is close to dying from pneumonia and he needs care. Bess stays and cares for him and realizes that the story she's been told about him may not be correct because Peregrine seems like a very rational person. More things go wrong during Bess's time in Kent, and she starts to look into the Graham family. I really liked Bess as a character, and I was intrigued by what would happen next in the story. I also really liked the setting of World War I. I don't think I've read much set during that time, so this was interesting to read to see how life was during that time. This is the first book in a series, and if you like it, you have plenty more to read. Stop by the library to pick up a book so you can travel the world through fiction. Until next time, happy reading!